So welcome back to the iHealth channel, iHealth Radio, the NBC Network, The Works. A great show today that I have for you with an awesome guest. And the reason I said this, I mean, we've been talking, and I love his story. I love his ideology. I love his attitude, character, you name it. And he's going to drive that to us through his the discussion today. We're going to talk about fitness. We're going to talk about transformation. We're going to talk about motivation. We're going to talk about being entrepreneur and being free, doing all these things, literally changing, from one side to the other, being a whole new you. And I think we all can use a whole new us at any given point. We're so caught up in just the rat race, as they call it, the status quo. And sometimes we need a little bit of emotion. We need some trigger. And hopefully today's show will give us, that. So without any further ado, Lane Bulger is with us. Lane, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on, and I feel like I don't even deserve to be here, so I appreciate you giving me the shot.
No, you do, man, you do. And like I said, I mean, your story is a bit. I mean, you've transformed yourself, not only physically, from the mind to the body. I mean, and you did a full, literally, transition to where you are today. So I want you to take our audiences back to how it all started. Who's really Lane? I mean, what got you to today?
Man, so I don't even know where to start, but so I'm from Central Alabama. You probably can tell with the accent, and just small town. Went to college, but before I started college, started my own landscaping business, cutting grass, and was I guess, entrepreneur. I always wanted to work for myself. And met my wife now, but she was going to college in Auburn, and I had taken some college courses, and I was wanting to pursue an MBA because I was going to get closer to her, and didn't work out. Moved back hometown, just started cutting grass, doing my own thing. Was successful, and had a great marriage, two beautiful kids, plenty of money, no debt. Didn't have anything to complain with. But something wasn't right. And I guess up 28, 29, and I guess COVID happened, and anxiety started just rushing in, depression. I didn't know what that was. I thought that was a joke, depression, anxiety. And I started drinking, closet drinking, right? Because and it was trying to hide it from my wife, and was trying to deal with this. And one day on the job, man, just broke down, started crying one day, and I didn't know what it was. I told my wife, I said, something's wrong with me. And I was reaching out to a lot of my friends and some really tough guys. We work outside for a living, work with our hands. And I was asking different guys, like, what were you doing for this depression or anxiety? And they were all taking pills, antidepressant medications and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I knew that wasn't my route. I just couldn't do it. And just as I was asking people, hey, what are you guys doing? And long story short, I'd been listening to this guy on YouTube, motivational speaker, fitness, nutrition, and he never really talked about nutrition, fitness. It was all mindset, And one day, as I was working, I get to listen YouTube 24/7 while I'm cutting and working, because I work by myself. I got my headphones, so I'm always consuming knowledge, information, 24/7. And one day, he just spoke to me, and I called him, and he sent me a nutrition plan, fitness plan. And literally within 24 hours, my life changed just from getting the macronutrients, getting the protein I needed, the carbs I needed, the fat I needed, and an exercise program. Because I'd been very active, used to race BMX, played football. I was very active. But when I started working, I was manually working, but I wasn't really, building muscle, right? And I figured out how important that was, because you can work outside, you can stay busy and moving, but if you're not building muscle and you're not putting that protein in your body, it's a cure all, and it did for me anyways. And so my coach taught me how to coach, so I started coaching because I know it healed me. And this had nothing to do with nutrition and fitness. It was not about bodybuilding. It wasn't about muscle. It was 100% about mindset. That's why I got into it. That's why I stay in it. That's why I keep doing it. I don't care anything about the muscles, the body, and I just wanted that good mindset, that inner peace. That's all. That's what everybody's chasing, is inner peace, I think. And that's how you get it. You got to earn it, and that's how I did it. So I don't know if that was too much or too little, but that's kind of the story.
Well, there's a lot in there, so we're gonna
Yeah.
unpack all that and
Yeah.
break it down because first there's the your story about just being who you are and really uh, being a normal like anybody else. I mean, we hear a lot of people having the same life. You know, they meet someone, they happy, they build a home, and all these things are pretty and beautiful. But sometimes it's not 100% fulfilling until you discover things about yourself. And a lot of us have been in the same shoes, as I would say. I mean, it's just life. I mean, it happens. Young person trying to get a play in this world, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this world. And I love what you said. It was the 28 to 20, the 30 mark. That's like where you were kind of like started feeling things, and at least. And by the way, it is true. I mean, I do have a recurring show about psychiatry with one of the world renowned doctors, and one thing that I've learned from that show is that we do not get our full front lobe formed until 25, and we don't even get our identity until 35. And those things I learned from Dr. Heim, and I apply them,
So
I
true.
talk about them, and
So
they
true.
are true,
So
factual,
true.
because I have a son, he's 26, I have younger ones. And you know what, as you grow, even myself, I do recall who I was at that time and who I am today. And there is, it doesn't matter. I mean, maybe some of us are different than others, but at the end of the core of it, we're not 100% there. We think the world is just,
100%.
a
I
fun
cannot
place. Let's
agree
just have
more.
fun.
I cannot agree more. 100%. You just got to go through it to know it. But yeah, I don't want to cut you off, but that's been a recurring thing with me and a few other guys talking is that number. Okay. And if you'll look at all the, the gurus of the ages, and there's a word, I think in Japan that even talks about it, that there's that, and that's not, of course, not midlife crisis, but there's an age between 28 to 30 something where it's that transformation period for a man, kind of like, turns in. So 100% that I know there's something to that, about
I
that
just give
age
you the
gap.
science, the psychiatry science, and
100%.
it's
Totally
it's
agree.
factual. Well,
Yes.
well, well. So probably no cut off here because this is your show, and I actually
No,
it's
no,
all
no,
good.
no, no.
I'm
Look,
just
I
I'm
want to
just
interview
dissecting.
you.
Yeah, yeah. you know, I am cutting through the discussion here, the different items, and so you have that, and then you talked about one thing I want to just highlight specifically is that you're listening to YouTube, right? And YouTube is millions of videos and creators in there, right? Not all made equal. There is great entertainment, there's great information, there's great insight, there's science, there's everything in YouTube. I mean, this show is on YouTube and plenty more. And what you said, keyword, you consume a lot of information daily, but you consume the constructive stuff, the good stuff, the positive stuff. And here's the funny thing, folks: if you're watching and listening, what you heard right now from Lane is powerful because the world of podcasts, the world of shows, and things like that, the experts are out here. They're out there. They're talking on these platforms. You might get some expertise on regular media, but it's curated in a way. It's limited. It's different, and you're not gonna find it raw the way it is and abundant. Because what's happening, you have the abundance. There's multiple shows in one topic. You can have different perspective from different talk show hosts and guests, and experts, and so that's a big deal. And I love what you said. You're working, doing your thing, but you were not just wasting your day.
Mm-mm.
You were feeding the mind, right? And that's the power. If you can feed the mind, the rest will follow. And that's exactly what happened to you. That caused you to eventually click and call the dude or reach out to the dude. And the outcome of that was very simple. You got transformed. So we're going to continue with that discussion. I also want to talk about what you said is that you went to college, you did all that, but you wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now, some people may have a different perspective. What is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is someone who actually creates a business and fulfills their own destiny and works. And basically they generate revenue and they're independent. Right now, we can have serial entrepreneurs, which they do more of that, right? And who knows? You're growing your business, you can do more of that, you can multiply, right? But the idea is that you are self autonomous, basically, right? You do your own thing. You don't have to worry about others. You don't have to worry about a job or a handout or a paycheck because you generate that. The other thing I want to talk about is that there is this perception about landscaping, like, what kind of job is that? It is actually a big job. Landscaping can pay a lot, folks.
Hmm.
If you know what you're doing, there's plenty of money to be. I mean, if you just go and get yourself a landscaper to give you an estimate on a
For
workload
sure.
on a job, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. It's big money, folks. And if you love what you're doing, it's even better. Now, if you make it your own passion and you enjoyed it,
Yeah.
you don't mind working outside. Now, you have, by the way, Lane, you have something working for you. You work in the south of the states, which is warmer. So
Very
you
hot.
pretty much work in all year long versus like some parts in the states
For
north,
sure.
or we get the cold weather, so basically that kind of stops. But in your case, it's perfect timing. I mean, you have 365 days of business that
There's
you
always
can.
something to do. Always something to do.
And by the way,
Yeah.
landscape is not just cutting grass. There's more to it, right? I mean,
For
you
sure. For
you
sure.
from trees to lawns to design to really pavers. I mean, there's much more stuff that can go in there. So
Hmm.
I want to just to highlight that for people. So is it manual labor? You're a smart dude. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you can work with your hands. It is a business like any other business, right? You treat it the way that if you like what you do, you're not working, and
That's
that's
right.
what you do. You found your formula. It's been working for you. Now, what you guys we haven't talked about, Lane, is that Lane and his wife, I believe, built their own home
Yes.
from
Yeah.
scratch,
Yeah.
from
Man, I had some really good
trees.
friends. Yeah, I had some really good friends. And well, her father was always wanting to get a sawmill. I didn't even know what a sawmill was at the time. And I was like, we're not getting a sawmill. And we had this arrangement and we worked out a deal. Well, we bought a cheaper sawmill, a manual one. And we got it. We started playing with it and I fell in love with it. And there was a guy that I was researching about it, and they said when you start sawing, there's sawdust everywhere, and they said if that sawdust ever gets in your blood, you can't get it out, and it got in my blood and I can't get it out. And so what I'm saying is I just enjoy doing it. I love doing it. And anyways, it become a passion for me. And when I think it was me and my wife was talking about moving, we wanted to get further out. And I don't know, I really did, to think about it, I don't even know why we were. I just wanted a sawmill, and I was like, hey, let's just build a house, a barn dominium. It's a big thing here where it's like a barn, and finish it in. And luckily, I had bought the sawmill, and I've got some great friends, and he said his uncle was clearing a lot of land. He was clearing it, and he said you can have the logs. I was like, man, I can't take these trees. And he's like, man, he's gonna burn them if you don't get them. So
Ooh,
this his uncle, man, just had hundreds of logs, and I'd got the sawmill. I bought my own as a manual, and man, we just took after it, and we cut. My wife actually, she said she's got flashbacks because it's a lot of work. You don't, people talk about, they're going to build their own house, they're going to save money. You don't save money as far as the time you have in it, the effort you have in it. You really don't save time, but it's something you're part of and you're proud of, and we've enjoyed it. I don't run from work. I actually like it, and it's been a great experience. Got us closer together, and yeah, I think I got some on my social media, a few pictures, and I want to post some more of that. And it's actually kind of sawmill season here because the grass has slowed down. So me and my friend was actually cutting logs the last couple of days. So that's what I got on my uh, social
Lane,
media.
just for our audiences that may not, can you describe the sawmill to them? Just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what a sawmill is? Yeah, because I didn't either. It's a table saw. It's like a very big table saw, but you get a log, you put the log on
Ooh.
there, and you got a blade, and you just cut that. You're just cutting that log, and you're squaring the log up, and then you figure out what size lumber you want: 2x4s, 2x6s. You set the gauge, and you just cut the logs. After you cut the logs, you got to clean them. You got to stack them on a trailer. We built what they call a kiln, which is like a greenhouse for wood. You got to stack the wood in there, get it dry, make sure it bends and it dries good. You pull it out, and then we plane it, and then you get somebody to put it up. So you touch that wood about 10 times before you get done with it. It's a lot of process. So, but it's enjoyable. Like I said, it's very labor intensive though. You're not going to save any money if you trying to build your own house.
I think the overall result pays for it, right? I mean, when you
Oh, for
see
sure, for sure.
when you
Yeah, I'll
see
say
the
that.
final
It is, but you got to
piece.
look at. Hey, look, there's a lot of weekends. I didn't watch any football on those weekends. We didn't hang out with friends. I mean, it's some time. You gotta spend a lot of time out there. But it's like anything. Like we said, the quote: the sacrifice creates paradise. And if you're willing to sacrifice, you can have that paradise. And it's not going to
Hold,
come if you don't.
Lane, repeat that nice one more time for our audiences.
The sacrifice creates paradise. You will not, it's that, and listen, we talk about that internal paradise. So, you were talking about external things, building a house, cars, those things are judged, those are trophies that most
Mhm.
people associate with success. And one of the main things that has totally opened my eyes recently, everybody's looking for that internal success, that internal peace inside, right? We were trying to be good inside. And when you find it, you look at how silly all that other stuff is. And I do think those things, I don't look down on those things at all. I think when you finally find that internal peace, your passion, that's when you can get wealthy. That's when you can get rich. And, I go back to, I know this sounds way off the wall, but Steve Irwin has always been, Australian, Steve Irwin, the guy with the animals. If you told somebody at a young age that they liked animals and you said, hey, you can't make money if you like animals, like a zoo, he died. There's no telling how many millions of dollars Steve Irwin had got, but he loved animals, right? It's you find your passion, the money will come. If you like music and you really, you sell out to that music, you do what you love. I really think that's, any football coach that really loves football, they're going to coach football if they make, 100,000 or 10 million. That football coach is going to coach football. It's like anything. If you got a really somebody, if you look at the musicians, it was just the ones that didn't stop. There's people more talented than them that didn't stop, like basketball players, football players. When you sell out to whatever, you're going to do it. And I've luckily found a passion that I'm going to sell out to, and that's helping people, through nutrition, fitness, mindset. And I'm going to do it if I get paid. If I don't get paid, I'm going to be doing it. So it's kind of cool when you know that it's going to happen regardless, because this is what you think about. You just want to help people become better people. And we're going to make it, if we don't make it, it's almost like a punishment on the universe, right? That you're just going to keep giving, 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 and you're just going to keep doing it because you know what's going to happen.
Well, Lane, we're gonna get deep dive into this, the nutrition and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But really, what we're talking about is leading towards that because, you know, building a home or a house from scratch, literally cutting the wood yourself and sacrificing, as you said, without sacrifice, there's no
The
paradise. Is that what?
paradise.
Yep. So I mean, yeah, it makes paradise for you, right?
That's
So
right.
so understanding, folks, that this is a very deep concept, and here is like everybody wants easy. There is no easy. If you really want the paradise you dream of, you to live the way you want, it's gonna take work. It's gonna take discipline, right? And I want to take your take on discipline, Lane. But really, folks, that's exactly what we're talking about here. This is Lane who actually found his own passion. He does his stuff. He found his independence in terms of like relying on somebody else in terms of work. Obviously, he's got clients. He's got to maintain all that. That's part of the job. But he does what he loves. You beautifully stated that if you have passion for something, it doesn't matter. You're gonna do it regardless. And if you're doing it and you're gonna do it with pure heart and you believe in it, it's gonna generate one way or the other. You're gonna find it just
Got to.
basically multiplying. It's happening. And by the way, so this is for all your listeners and viewers out there. Just know this: whatever it is that you love, find a way to get into it. Find a way. Yes, you will
Yeah,
sacrifice things.
100%. You got to.
Sometimes you got to give up things, but know
Yeah.
that it will pay back in triple, in quadruple.
Yeah.
It's multiplying. But that's something that's going to take. If you're not willing to sacrifice, then there is no paradise, folks.
It's
Yeah.
not, man. You're
So
chasing your tail 24/7.
yeah.
You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. I mean, I know you can just feel it. I can feel it on you. You feel it on me. And that old saying that people use it all the time, but real recognizes real. You know what it took, and you're not
Oh,
chasing. This is what the hard thing is, not chasing the trophy. Everybody chases a trophy. And listen, man, as I started studying, because I wasn't big into sports, but Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, they didn't care about a trophy. They cared about the work. People use the word obsessed bad, but you have to be obsessed. You got to be passionate. We call it passionate, and lazy people call it obsessed. Lazy people look at people that are successful as obsessed, and it's just two different terms. Just like arrogant. I don't believe the word arrogant exists. You're either confident or you're delusional. So people that are arrogant, people that if you're arrogant, you don't have any. First of all, I don't have to brag about things that I do because I know it. But if you're bragging about something, you either can do it or you can't, right? If Michael Jordan says he can beat me in basketball, he's not arrogant. He's honest. But if I say that, I'm delusional. So I don't. I think also insecure people use the word arrogant as just confident. So that's
No,
a
no,
whole nother rant.
no, no,
I
no.
just those terms, man. It just drives me
Powerful.
crazy.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's powerful stuff. And you're right. And by the way, you touched on success as like the trophy part of the success.
Hmm.
That's actually the good to have, right? It's great to have those things. They will happen, folks. You know,
Yeah.
but the mission that you have to set is everything. Like, by the way, I love what you said, real and knows real. What I do is passion. Many people like, I'm doing a lot of things, but this is like what I want to be. This is like what my road led me here, and this is what I want because I do have a mission. And really, my mission is to educate, enlighten, inspire, and motivate. And I've been doing that the last 4 years. That's what I've been doing. While I'm sacrificing a lot of things, I'm doing a lot of things and making a lot of shifts and movements. And I see the results slowly but surely, and I know where it's going to go. And some people's like,
Yeah.
well, you got to make some money with this. You know what? The money will come, folks. Here's
When
the
you
thing.
don't need it, my coach taught me this: it'll come when you don't need it. And man, if that's not true, when you don't need it's when it comes. And it's like with anything, right? Anything, whatever you chase runs away from you. There's nothing else can be said of this. This is for men chasing women. If you think you're going to get a woman, it's not going to happen, right? When you don't need it, that's when they come, right? With anything, the money will come when you don't need it anymore. And that was the biggest thing for me. I don't. When you get internally good, when you get good with yourself, that confidence, you're just living moment by moment. It's just, in the present. To me, you're not chasing some future event because you're gonna, when you get to that trophy, you're gonna look back and want to be back where you're at right this second. You're gonna want to not be heard. You're gonna want to not be famous. You're not gonna want to be, and that's what I look at because there's so many times, this, you'd do anything to go back and be 20, or start back over. So
I
it's the
I'm
same thing
21,
right
man. What are
now.
you talking about?
It's the same thing right now. You're going to wish you were right here doing this, talking to a nobody in the middle of Alabama. You know what I mean? So this is what we, come back. This is what we live for. That's what gives me chill bumps.
So, Lane, thank you for that. And I have to say, everybody is somebody.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah. You know
that's
what I mean.
that,
You know what
yeah.
I mean.
I know
Yeah, yeah,
exactly what
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Well, for our
To me,
audiences, I know, I know.
yeah, to
You've been
me, I
humble. You've
am
been humble.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Well. The fact is, folks, what you're hearing right now is true talk. I mean, this is really what Lane feels, what I feel. Success is a big concept, right? And everybody's got their own formula of success, but it ends up with luxuries or things to have because you can afford them, and that's the money or the financial. But success can be family, can be love, can be people, can be health, and can be the journey towards getting the trophies, which typically that's the biggest and the better part of the whole thing. And by the way, if you ask everybody that has been into that journey and got where they are today, where we all look up to them, is like, I don't care who you pick from the world success stories, you will ask them and they will tell you that whole journey is what they long to because they remember how they started. They remember that the difficulties, the bumps, the hurdles, and all the things that came on their way. Every obstacle that you can imagine happens. I always go to that pyramid where you see like the iceberg thingy. You see the tip, and then there's a lot of stuff behind.
Oh, they'll
Boy,
never
that's
see it.
really
They'll never see
exactly.
it. They'll
People
never
don't
see
see.
it.
They don't know what's going on.
Overnight, what 10 years, 20 years would be an overnight success. It's so
Yeah,
true. And I've heard people say this all the time.
it's
Yeah.
fact. It's fact. Whether you're in the corporate world, whether you're in the entrepreneurial world, it doesn't. Like you mentioned singers and maybe like celebrities, actors.
100%.
They
They just never quit.
they're
They never
yeah.
quit.
Well, Jordan. You said Jordan.
No.
It's he worked his butt off to get what he was, but he loved the game. He loved the play. He loved to do that. He missed a lot of shots before he became good at
That's
getting the
right.
shot. You see, that's the thing. Like we always look at the end game, but what it took for him. I mean, many of these folks were actually rejected. I mean, Oprah. Many people like that.
I
You
love it.
you would think. I mean, I remember Disney. Walt Disney. He was given. He was told that he lacked imagination. And got
Yeah.
fired. So I mean, and we can go back
I
and
have
forth.
a, I have a theory on this too. I have a theory.
Go for it.
People talk about talent, and
Mm.
we were discussing this the other day. I think talent, natural talent, is maybe one of the worst curses you can have. And what I mean by that is because you don't have to work for it. And if you look at the greats, most of them, they weren't, like you said. Michael Jordan got, everybody says it, but got cut from the ninth grade team. Listen, man, I grew up in a town where there was NBA player that made it, and he was a phenom in ninth grade. Like they knew he was going to go right. Michael Jordan's getting cut from his team. Okay, he just had that drive. He was not the most talented player. He worked. He was literally obsessed with practicing. Right, that's what Kobe Bryant would say. They were obsessed with practice. They were obsessed with the repetitions nobody saw. And this is what I've been learning from. I'm doing jiu-jitsu now. I'm doing these podcasts, being able to talk in front of people. Are you willing to do those reps and be able to suck at it for a long time? And those people are the ones, because that talent, you get lazy, you get you just I think it's a curse sometimes. I think that talent it lets you get off where that grind of there's a quote, it kind of goes with this. Only the paranoid survive. And so you're not good enough in a way. You're not talented enough, so you got to outwork them. Like Floyd May, like Floyd May would talk about the work and stuff, but it's just that constant work. And another quote: "The work instills the worth." If you feel worthless, it's because you're not putting the work in. If if you're working, you don't have time to feel worthless or anxious because you're grinding so hard, right? So anytime you're depressed, anytime you're anxious, this is what my coach taught me was quit being selfish. Selfish people think about themselves, think about others, and you just put the work in, and you're not going to feel that anxiety. It's that not doing anything's why you're feeling that anxiety. Because I still feel it all the time, but it's because I'm not moving and I'm not working. I'm not on my mission, passion. Like right now, this is what I love to do. We're engaged. We're loving this. Time's not even passing by. We could do this for hours because we're doing what we love. We're putting in the work. We're helping other people, and that's what I've learned. Anyways, I know I went like 30 different things there.
No,
but,
no, no. It's the
yeah.
same topic, dude. It's the same thing.
Yeah, all this
And
is combined. Truth,
exactly.
anything with truth, any of this stuff, it all runs down. And success, real quick, I want to say this on success because this is, what I said is why I'm so relatable, because I'm not a Navy SEAL. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not, any speaker would get on, they this, that I cut grass. Okay. So I can relate to everybody, right? I work a job, but the way your kids look at you when they're grown, if they want to be around you, that is success. I heard Dana White say this. Your children are a reflection of you. This is what I've learned. This is my main mission. This is my purpose. I want them to be proud of me. And they don't care if daddy's got 100,000, 200,000, minus 200,000. How do I treat them? How do people feel around me? And that's cliche. A lot of people will say, oh, he's just saying that. But it's true. Because I know wealthy people and their kids don't want anything to do with them, and they're miserable, and they have to get dogs and animals, and they love these dogs and animals to make up for how they treated their kids, earlier. But I just don't want to be in that way. I don't want to be in that place, and we make mistakes every day. But I want to focus on my kids right now. I can make money anytime, but I'm really pouring into my kids right now. So that's my success. Now everybody defines it differently, but I think everybody would put that somewhere if they were being honest, right? So.
No, well, Lane, actually, that's exactly right. Like that's what I said. Success is a lot of things. I mean, it comes with what we know overall, which is the big picture, like the final game, right? The final play. When you see the end result, right? And that's the financial piece of it. But really, the true success is like how many people did you hurt, for example, on the way? If you haven't hurt anyone on your way to be a successful person, that means you did good. Because a lot of people will step on a lot of people to meet that condition of success. Some people will this is the wrong sacrifice. They'll really ruin their families, their kids, and so on and so forth because it's money driven. It's not that, folks. What we're talking about is you got to find the true yourself formula of success, which is what fulfills you and without harming anybody else. Being a positive person in society, being positive in your journey, like literally being in and out. And the only thing that people are going to remember is how good you were versus how
you made them feel.
Exactly.
They don't care. Yeah, I learned that. How do people feel when they're around you? That's it. Listen, nobody cares about anything else. They don't care about your Ferrari. They don't care about your cars. How did you make them feel? How did you make them feel? Right at the end of the day. And by the way, you can do that. You can have Ferraris. You can have islands. You can. And most people that are wealthy, you can't get money unless you're helping people in some form, right? You got to be able to produce something, right? Unless you're just straight robbing and stealing and killing. But for most people, it's because they helped out a lot of people. Jeff Bezos has helped more people than me by getting stuff to them, by shop. He's made your life easier, right? So, just try to figure out how to help as many people as you can in your passion. If monetary gain is your goal. you know.
Oh, actually, as you grow in your enterprise or your empire, right? Anyone, you are building it by creating jobs, opportunities,
100% helping people.
innovation, industries, and all of that is really part of your legacy and your signature. You mentioned Jeff Bezos. Yes, I mean he built this super successful company, but millions of people have around the world have been using it. Millions of
Yeah,
people are making if he's making I think it's 400 billion whatever you know he owns about 16% of the company or 20%. There's other
yeah,
people that own that part of the company. So he created wealth for others.
yeah.
So, we don't look at that. We don't look at like what have you, really put in this world? What's your input in the world? And
A
really,
hundred
again, that's
percent.
the legacy. When you look at some of the people that talk Steve Jobs, he's no longer with us, but he left a huge legacy behind him. I mean, besides the technology, I mean, there's career paths that were created. There are technologies. There are schools that actually teaching some of the concepts and his stuff. And a lot of these things are impactful. They're positive. Now we're not talking about the person, whether he was a good person or a bad person internally, like with his own. That's a different story. But at least know that, as you said, we will keep some positivity. But again, the people will still remember who you are for what you do to them and how you made
Hmm.
them feel. As you said, the other thing is you can be super rich if you're who you are, true to yourself. You will never forget where you came from, and also you will always be the same person, regardless if you have 10 houses, an island, a yacht, a plane. You're still
I got
you.
a good one. I got a good one for
Go
you.
for it, baby.
Another one on this. Money only makes you more of who you already are. Money only makes you more of who you already are. Why do people that hit the lottery, people talk about people that hit the lottery go broke, blah blah blah. Well, do you know why that is the case? Because only poor people play the lottery. Okay, think about it. Donald Trump doesn't buy lottery tickets. Wealthier people, people that are doing, they don't buy lottery tickets. So the only people that are paying the lottery mainly are poor people, mostly, or poor mindset people, right? And so that's why they go broke. If you give, somebody that's wealthy, that much money, they're going to just multiply it. So that's what my coach taught me was, money only makes you more who you already are. If you give a bad person more money, they're going to do bad things. If I give Hurricane some more money, he's going to do good things with it, right? So money is just the amplifier of who you already are, right? It's like a gun. People talk about guns. These guns ain't going to kill nobody, right? They're not going to jump off the wall. In the hands of a good person, you can do really good things. Bad people can do really bad things. Same way with money. It's just an amplifier.
Well, thank you for saying that because that is a powerful piece of the discussion. Again, talking about mindset, right? And we're going to focus on that in a minute. It's really that, and you're right. Your personality is who you are. Whether you have millions, it's only going to amplify, as you said, who really your true character is. If you were bad on the onset, it's going to continue magnifying that bad attitude or character. If you're good, it's just going to you're going to be more charity, you're going to do more goods and stuff. And that's really and I love what you said. It's not so much that poor people are the ones who pay. I mean, obviously they do because they believe that potentially they can make that
100%.
quick
A
fix.
dream.
But a real, success person or like someone who's not in a poor mindset, they would not look at it that way. They'll say, I'll take that 20 and I'm gonna invest it in something that's gonna be kept 100 and then 200 and a
Yeah,
thousand.
because
And then
it's 100% win. If you invest, if Hurricane invests 100 in himself, it's some new education, a book. What's a new book gonna do, or what's a coach or a mindset gonna? You can tenfold. I think Alex Hermosi said, a lot of people talk about investing in the S&P, whatever 500. He said the SM and me 500. I'm going to invest in me. So I'm going to take that 20 and invest in me with a book. If those guys, instead of buying $20 worth of lottery tickets, bought Think and Grow Rich or bought a book or an audio book of business, how much more? Literally, one book could totally change. Well, you could get on YouTube like I did and do free audio books as well because it's free. But just listening to, I mean, the information is out there. Like a guy said, education is not the problem. We have a great there's too much education. It's application. Nobody wants to apply the knowledge. Listen, you can get on YouTube. I learned more on YouTube in 10 minutes than I did in college the whole time I was there. 10 minutes on YouTube, you can listen, to save you thousands of dollars. All of high school, 10 minutes, and I got more in than a whole high school, just because it's out there, it's free, and nobody wants to apply it. I know people that read all the books, they do all the stuff, and that's what my coach taught me. He said, "Hey, listen, you got to apply this stuff, right? It's the discipline. That's what it is. You can learn all of it. People know too much. That was my problem. I was more information, more books, more information, more books. It was too much. I was running in 100 different circles where it's like, hey, get you a small schedule and stick to it religiously, and you don't break it for nothing, and you just grind every day, and that was the blueprint that was given to me. I mean, if you want a keys to success, that was mine. Quit doing so much, quit thinking so much. Thinking it is One of the philosophers says thinking is a disease. Overthinking is a disease. And with all entrepreneurs and with all people we all have that problem, that ADHD problem of trying to do too much all the time and always trying to think of. Alex Ramusi was talking about doing, everybody's wanting to do 10 different things. And it's like, man, just stick to one thing and don't quit before the miracle happens, right? Keep grinding, keep grinding, keep grinding, and don't look up and don't need it. And so that's what has really made a difference in my life. Quit chasing everything, because I keep having these new ideas pop in my head. I need to try this. I need to try this. And it's like, no, I'm sticking to this, and it may take 10 years, right? It may take, look, I'm going to try this for 10 years and see how it works out, right? Let me try this for 10 years and then we'll try it out. We'll try something different in 10 years. And I think if everybody had that mindset, they'd be successful in 2 years, If they really knew, they said, I'll never quit. They said that's the powerful word. Never is a very powerful word. If you can say I'll never stop, then you don't have to think about it. You don't have to be anxious about it. I'm not stopping. So that's helped me. Anyways, anything to say on that?
No, a lot of saying there, man. First of all, I love what you said about knowledge. It's available, folks. I mean, Elon Musk. I was watching one of his interviews, and he said it. We have plenty of education. You don't have to go to school to be educated. There's plenty of knowledge everywhere. As you said, there's too much of it for free. And he said it. There's a lot of it. I mean, I'm not talking about podcasts here, folks. I mean, you can go on Google and all the search engines and search all you want. YouTube is like everybody's teaching something on YouTube. You want a language, you can learn it. Listen, I learned everything about media from literally online. I didn't go to media school. I'm a sales guy, by default, and insurance and healthcare. I learned everything else to bring my knowledge into and create a platform. So folks, and there's a lot of stuff. You do your research, you do your homework, you work and you grind, as you said, work, but it's available. Also, again, too much information can be also too much, because you'll be all over the place. You need to dissect and pick the right stuff and be determined what your mission. Clear. Now, that doesn't mean you cannot have different things or ideas. Put them, like 100%. I call them, in a parking lot.
100%.
Keep them there, work them. Don't decline them or just refuse them as an idea. Keep them there. You never know when they're going to come handy. But the idea is that you're focused. And I love what you said. Words are powerful. The more you say things to yourself, they're going to stick with you. If you say, I can't do it, I'm going to quit. I'm never, quitting.
Never
as you said, I'm never going to stop. Your subconscious is going to take that and it's going to keep feeding you. You're not stopping. Now, if you say, again, some people say, I am not doing good or whatever, guess what? That's can actually start, feeling like, oh, I feel like a loser. Folks, this is not us just talking. This is Google it up, look it up. This is Psychiatry 101. It's the way we function is the more you hear positive, the more you're going to be positive. The more you say negative, the more you're going to reflect negative. Anyone who has
that simple, it's that simple, but it's that, listen, you just can't, you just, I know what you're saying. I heard this forever, but I think there's that age click or whatever that it just clicked with me. And it was like,
well, it is. By the way, that's the magical age. For me, it was also 30.
It is.
I'm a little older than you, but 30 was the magic mark. Literally, I learned a lot of things after 30. I became a whole new me. Before 30, I was just this guy who was just having fun. Literally, that's all it was. It was just about, let's have some fun. It's all good. Life is peachy. And folks, when you hit that 30 mark, you become someone new. You start getting more intellectual, if you want to call it that way. You try to look at yourself, who you are, and so on and so forth. You get that 40 mark, now you become a whole different, that's
what happens when I hit 40? Tell me what happens. What happens when I hit 40? Go ahead. I'm going to listen.
It's called midlife crisis, dude.
Okay.
So it's going to happen, but it's going to happen with a whole different you. And that's where your prime everything, right? Because you already got the smarts now. You already got the stuff. Yeah. Probably the finances are good. Everything's going to be there. The health is peaking there, so that when you hit the 50, you start getting the aches.
Yeah, no, I'm already getting those. I'm already getting some aches.
So folks, everybody's different, right? This was just, but that literally, that's for me, that's kind of like how I describe it. But everybody's gonna have their own experiences. Now we're gonna deep dive into all the stuff you said. Really led to a couple of key notes here. One is the mindset. Two is the discipline, because a lot of the stuff that you have done and you're
You
doing.
can't separate those two. By the way, just real quick, this is something that's not taught. It's earned every day, and I would say second by second, right? You can lose that positive mindset by one negative action, and this is something that's not taught a lot. It's like I just got a positive mindset. Those two are interlinked. Just real quick on the discipline and mindset. You find me somebody undisciplined, I can find you somebody with a bad mindset, right? You can't have those. Those two can't exist. In my opinion, the proper way, you've got to have that discipline to have that mindset, right? In my opinion, that's what I was taught. That these two things are linked. Mind, body, soul. You can't be a super overweight, unhealthy person and tell me that you're good mentally. It's impossible. You know what I mean? It just is. I mean, you can't tell me, and that's what I've learned, and when you know yourself, psychology, when you come to know yourself, you can understand everybody else. And that's what I've come to realize. You can't lie to me. Not that but you can't pull the wool over my eyes. I can see straight through it. I know when somebody's good. I know when somebody's not. I know when I'm good. I know when I'm not. And when I don't do the things I'm supposed to do, when I break the promises to myself, all that anxiety comes in, all that self-worth, all that doubt. And so it's just earned every day in whatever process it is. And that's kind of what I coach was that process, that program, that discipline, that just that yeah, the discipline and mindset. But yeah, go ahead. I had to interrupt on that.
No, no,
Sorry.
Lane, that's powerful. Again, discipline is your doing things over and over regularly. So it's like you don't. It's your routine. Speaking of which, I mean, I have a background in martial arts, and since I was a kid, I've been in karate.
It's everything. By the way, that's the link. Real quick, I want to say this because I didn't have one. That's why I think that's a necessary thing. I'm doing jujitsu now. I
Well,
think everybody has to do it. In my opinion, that's the self actualization. I think that's on the process, the nutrition, fitness, and martial arts. I don't want to interrupt. Just want to say that tells me a lot. I can already know that because of where you're at, the martial arts. And if you look at all the people that are successful, most of them did have that in there. So go ahead.
even if they didn't, they doing it. I mean, we look. I mean, I think Elon and Mike are doing their
100%.
own jujitsu now. but
Yeah.
but here's the thing, folks. It's this is elevating. I mean, martial arts is really what they are. The arts of military, right? And military is known to be discipline, based. Period. And now everything that happens in the military is all discipline, strategy, and stuff.
100%.
Call it martial arts. And one thing that why we refer to martial arts a lot in this discussion is because besides the discipline and the respect that comes with it and all the stuff, is the art of repetition of everything. You cannot be good in anything of these arts if you don't do one thing over and over thousands and thousands of times. One time, one punch, thousands of punch to get a good punch. Kicks the same way. A form, like when we do katas in the karate world, that form, if you look at a demonstration, for example, and watch world class, karate is, demos, you will see that these guys, they move like swift, as a unit. I mean, it's one movement, and that takes so much practice. Jiu-jitsu, to get that next belt, that technique, the
Hmm.
techniques you're gonna test on, they have to be like crisp. I mean, you gotta be like flawless when you do those things, and so on and so forth. As you rank up, the same thing. Well, that's what life is about. It's about practicing and doing those habits day in, day out, day in, day out. They become you. They become part of you, who you are, and your personality. You know, if you watch my show, you'll hear me saying things over and because they're part of my vocabulary. They became me. It's part of who I am, my identity. Lane,
We got
same thing
one
with you.
message. You have
Yeah.
one message. I have one message. This is the thing is, and you can say it 1,000. Everything we've said tonight can always link back to, the success, discipline, all these mindset, right? All of it does. So that's, it's so funny because everything goes back to that when you are a whole or whatever. So I know what you're saying. You almost get where you're kind of worried that people are like, oh, he's saying the same things. And he always gets back to the same point. It's like when you find the point, when you find the answer, or you find the cure for the problem, it's always going to link back to that. So we can talk about the weather and we'll get back here. We could talk
Yeah.
about politics, we'll get back here. We can talk about, the war in the Middle East and we can get back here, right? It's all the same thing. So that's funny
It,
you say that.
No, Lane, I purposely stated that because not because I'm not aware that I do it. I do it on purpose, folks,
Yeah.
because it's not so much that I'm repeating. First of all, people are new people to the show all the time, but also the concept is that these are the foundations for me that make who I am and how I operate and what I'm trying to do through my podcast and my talk shows. But also in the discussion that we have here, this is a discussion about mindset, about positivity, about literally transformation. And we have talked about like how the mind and the body together, as you said, you can't have one off and the other one because one's going to affect
Yeah.
the other one. They have to be. So yes, it takes a lot of work, folks. I mean,
You're being a little humble real quick. I want to say this. You're being a little humble because you talk about it's, it's about being a good person. This is what we're talking about. This is about being a complete human being. And I don't want to beat around the bush because I think sometimes people, you know what I mean? It's, oh, we're talking about finance, or we're talking about health, or we're talking about all this is linked just to being a good person. I'm a better person than I was when I wasn't, in a positive mindset and I wasn't eating healthy. And anyways, I just want to say that you're talking about being a better person, better human.
well,
I
well,
think,
well. Thank you,
that's a
Lane.
simple, that's a simple,
I
way
love
to,
you. Simplify for both of us. But
yeah.
here's the thing, folks. If you're watching or listening right now, I mean, it's really a great feeling to feel good about yourself and be good. Period. I mean, good is something that we can understand. Everybody knows what good is. Everybody
You know
knows
when you
when.
feel good and when you feel bad. Yeah,
Exactly.
because
I
people
mean,
felt bad.
yeah, you watch a movie, you know who's the villain, who's the good guy or the good
That's
gal,
right.
right? It's not a secret, folks. You know when you are good, and by the way, your reaction, your behavior is going to be really driven by that personality, that character, and you can change that character in your mind.
Yeah.
Any given moment, like you said, it's a switch. I can be here, turn here
100%. We're all
overnight.
capable of it. Yeah, we're capable of good and bad. And this is not to say that we're good and you're bad. We're all capable of good. We're all capable of bad. But a good test for everybody. Carl Jung, I studied a lot of psychology, but what do you see in the world? This is a good test for everybody. Is the world just terrible? Is it evil? Is everybody coming out to get you? Is the government out to get you? If you see negative, trust me, you're negative. That's just what it is. Because I used to be that way. If all you see is positive, if you see a way out, you see solutions everywhere, you see how to help people, you're a positive person, right? When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thought that goes through your head? Are you thinking about everybody else, how you can help them, how you're going to make your family proud, how you're going to, or are you thinking about how tired you are, you don't want to go to work, you. And they said if you ever play a depressed mind, a depressed person or an anxious person's, thoughts on a screen, it's just it's just all about them. You cannot be depressed if you're not thinking about me. When I was depressed, I was thinking about me, 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 me. And if you just focus on everybody else and try to fix those problems, then you're not going to be depressed. Like that's the cure to depression, real quick for everybody. Quit thinking about you and start helping people,
Well,
and you'll
also,
quit thinking.
Lane, thank you. I'm gonna give you this. This is funny. Like somebody like talked to me the other day and says, well, you got a nice platform. Why don't you talk about the events down in the Middle East and the wars and stuff? You have a good. I'm like, dude, my whole signature is about positivity. I am not. There's plenty of already talk about it. Me talking about it, maybe it's going to satisfy some people that think that I should join the discussion. There's plenty of that. For me, I want to still
Thank you
keep
for not
positive.
talk real quick. Thank you for not talking about it. I'll tell you that much. I've said this. If you ain't willing to go over there and die, quit talking about it. Are you willing to go over there and die for whatever side? Are you willing to go die right now? Get in the car, go, and if you're not, quit talking about it. I've always said about it. If you're gonna talk about it, be about it. I'm not going. Okay, so there's no reason for me and the hurricane to talk about it. I'm not getting in my car. I'm not going there. And so if you got an opinion on it, you need to be able to put some blood on it. And that's what I've said. If everybody would do that, it all stopped tomorrow, right? I'm willing to die for my family, and we'll talk about my family. You know what I mean? I'm willing to die for my character and what I want, but that's the problem is they want you to, and if they want you to talk about it, they should talk about it. Tell them to start their platform, their radio station. They always want you to talk. I want you to talk about what you want to talk about. And that was the whole thing. Cause I get the same thing and I'm not even a quarter of what you are, but people will, you need to talk about this, or you need to put these quotes, or, hey, you need to, it's like, and then you go to their Instagram, they don't even have one, or they have one follow, they're private accounts, right? Anyways, that's a rant for me. I don't know if that I didn't
No,
want to
no,
go
no,
too political on it,
no,
but
no,
I'm
no.
real big on that. I'm real big on those opinions. That's what I've learned. the more educated I become or the more enlightened I become, the less opinions I had about things. I don't have opinions on them if I'm not doing them, right? I don't have an opinion on football. I don't play football, right? It just I focus on me. There's so much wrong with me. I don't have time to focus on anybody else's issues, right?
Well, Lane, and I by the way, I appreciate what you said because really that's what it is. Not that we don't have an opinion. We all have our own feelings about
Yeah,
what's
for
going
sure.
on everywhere. But the key here is, I want to keep positivity out there. I
Yeah,
don't want to dilute that by anything. Do I have do I feel bad about what's going on in the world? I
for
hate like
sure.
I mean, I'm everybody watching me or watch any of the shows. One thing, I hate war. I hate, crime. I
Everybody
hate
does.
racism. I hate all the bad things because I want a better life. I want a better world. Now, some people say my ideology is weak or like I'm like living in the cloud. Well, that's what I want. That's what I hope that the world has. Peace in the world, as they say. That's what we want. Now,
Absolutely.
is it real? Is it going to happen? I know it's not going to happen because it's just there's so much bad
Negativity.
stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we want to be on this scale of the right side here to give some positivity to balance out that one. That's really what it is. So that was kind of my rant too.
No,
but,
100%.
but
Have you ever heard of Ayn Rand? I'm trying to think. Atlas Shrugged. Have you ever heard of Atlas Shrugged?
no.
At the end of it, all the people kind of move off. You got this small group of people like me and you, and we'd all go move to this one area and we'd have our peace. So maybe we could create our own little island somewhere,
Let's
and
go to
the
Mars,
people.
man.
Yeah. So listen, I think we could cull out a little place, but it's just funny, man. The collective consciousness people talk a lot about. I've been studying. I studied some of Carl Jung, and they said he predicted Adolf Hitler 10 years before by listening to people's dreams and listening to people's thoughts of how things were getting bad. And if you'll talk to everybody now, they know this election cycle is going to be bad. And I don't want to get into that, but just saying that the reason why things are going to keep getting worse and worse is because everybody's thinking about them and
we feed
everybody's
in we feed in the energy.
making them come true. And I used to not believe that. I thought that was voodoo, but it's so true. If you think something bad's coming
It manifests.
24/7, and then everybody around you thinks something bad's coming, and it's going to happen. Like I just hear all these people talking about how bad it's going to be for the election cycle and bad, and it's going to happen. Like I know it's going to happen. I'm not worried about it. I'm just saying like these so many people have talked about it that it's got to not happen. It's just going to come true. So
Well, again, you and I are doing a little bit of opposite. We want to
that's
keep
right.
the positivity, folks. We want to talk about all the positive. Like I always make a joke. There's a lot of news, and it's no news is bad is good news, as they say. I want to have a powerful, beautiful, great new news.
Well, that light,
Just
it
positive
just
news.
takes a little candle to light the whole room up. So that's how
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we got
listen,
going for us.
that's a choice that I made. That I've always felt that that's my drive. That's
Yeah.
my motivation. And some people they can listen. I can tell you guys, staying in the darkness does not. It's not going to feed anything other than darkness. Staying in the light, it's going to keep you enlightened, and you're going to lit up the other stuff around you. And
And
that's
you're going
really
to
what it
draw those people to you. And that's another thing. What I
is.
learned is, listen, if you're doing it right, you're on a scale. If you're doing nothing, people are going to kind of love you and they're going to kind of hate you or whatever. But when you really want to truly be loved, you're going to be truly hated. And the more positive you get, the more negative you're going to get from other people. When I started doing what I'm doing, just helping people get in shape and whatever, I've had people that literally hate what I'm doing, because they're negative people and they don't, they're not healthy people. So just know that if you're not getting hate, if you're not getting that stuff, you're not doing it right. Really, truly. I mean, that's just what it is. And somebody said that the haters are just really fans that showing you in a weird way. Because listen, if I don't like you, I'm not going to listen to you. There's thousands of people that I don't like. I don't listen to them. So I'm not commenting on them. I'm not calling them. I'm not talking. I just don't pay attention to them. I don't have time. So just remember the people that are giving you that negative feedback. It's good to have it, and listen to them. And sometimes it's good to take their just listen, hear the feedback.
Don't let anyone vary out from your path. If you are
That's
focused on
right.
positive and lighting up the world, keep doing that, folks. And by the way, there's a pleasure in doing that. It's a whole different feeling, no matter what. You keep the positivity. And by the way, you talked about depression and anxiety. That was some of
Yeah.
the stuff that you've experienced yourself, and you gave almost the solution to depression, folks. We're depressed because we're constantly thinking about stuff that we have no control over.
That's right.
Oh my God, the world is this. I can't, yesterday, I don't know what the hell happened to me, blah, blah, blah. folks, things, this is again from Dr. Himes, and greetings to him from the show. Listen, it's powerful stuff. It's very simple. The things you have no control over, let it go. Let them go. Do not dwell on them. It's not going to do anything. Like, I wake up, something happened. Well, it happened already. There's nothing I can do about it other than figuring out a solution to the next step on how I'm going to make my good day. And that's what it is. We make a joke, my wife and I, like, everybody says good morning. It's like, well, it should be a great morning. Why good?
Yeah.
Hey,
Just
have yourself a great morning, folks. Like, say great morning instead of say good morning. That was old school. Let's find a new way. Again, it's a joke, but really think
something
about
little.
it. Yeah, just up notch a little bit, and you pump it up. But the fact is, today's your day. Tomorrow, that's the other thing. You are worried about tomorrow. You're anxious. Oh my God, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
You have no guarantees of tomorrow. There are people that wake up in the morning, there are people that never wake up in the morning. There are people that wake up where they have no homes. People are waking up in the world with no food.
100%.
So folks, today is happening. Have a positive attitude about it. Have a very, now some people say like, well, you guys are idiots. You're talking about all this kind of like, airhead, level. Folks, we're as real as it can get. This is it. This is our mindset, and everybody can have their own way.
I want to be around more people like you and not, definitely negative people for sure. I'd rather hear people talking like this than it just, but listen, man, I've heard this from psychology. It's a dopamine hit. Literally, that negativity, you can do it both ways. They literally thrive in that. And I did. I know that because I was always looking for the end of the world, all these things happening. And it was like a dopamine to feel that these people are getting, chemical reactions by being negative, and they look for other people to verify them. They want to get in those circles. And if me and you get in those circles, we're going, they ain't gonna like it. They're not gonna like it quick. Like, hey, what do you come in here with all this positivity for sure? But shine that light, man, and don't cave into that. Always be like you said, we're being honest and open about it. But because people will always say, well, how do you just be positive, or how do you do? There's always going to be those things. But I always said action. You got to take physical action to get in that positive mindset. You can't think your way into positivity. You got to act your way into positivity. If you lose the worst thing that could happen to you, right, to make you depressed, lose a child. If your child dies, that's probably one of the worst things that could happen. My coach told me, he said, listen, if that happens, the only way to cure that is you go find people that have lost their child and you start helping them. Whatever you're dealing with, that's your cure. Whatever, just start helping people. If your leg gets cut off, go find amputees. Y'all get together and y'all figure out how to work it out. Whatever's happening to you, right? Just find those things and start helping those people, and you'll quit thinking about you. And I thought that was probably one of the best answers I've ever heard, is just find out what you're struggling with. And me and you need positive people because we're giving away what we need. We need that positive energy. So we're giving it away. That's all we're doing. We're trying to get it back, and
Lane, thank you for that. But here's the thing, when you're positive and you walk into a room, that energy projects. And by the way, same thing if you have a negative value. But I do believe that a positive value will take over any negative value anywhere.
Has to.
If
I totally
your
agree
energy is gonna overtake that. So if you go in a room and you're full of energy and full of stuff, you're gonna change some of the minds in that place easily, as opposed to the other way around. Now you gotta be strong in your positivity, not just be like borderline. Here's the thing. Here's one thing. I make this joke also all the time when people say like, "What is something wrong with you?" It's like, I don't see negativity. I can tell you, even in death, there's positivity because I do believe there's a better place eventually, right?
100%.
So I always find the positive in every situation. Now, here's a kickoff for everybody, guys. If you're watching or listening right now, this is gonna really like give you a little mind play. There is, we hear the expression "wrong place, wrong time." Well, let me just awaken everybody to this. There is no such thing. There is the right place and the right time. Things only happen because they're meant to happen, and they will happen the way they happen. You can't change it otherwise. You take some sets of action. When things happen, your action is delivered, whatever it is. You say you make the wrong turn. Well, you made the turn. It's over. It was the right turn because that's the decision you made. So whatever happens in that corner is going to happen. So when you start thinking this way, your mind is going to flip on you, folks. But really, it's when you start thinking about these things, I do these deep thinking myself. And you're like, we always hear like, oh, wrong turn, wrong time. But was it really a wrong turn, wrong time? Or it happens? Because here's the thing. Everybody drives, or at least being in a vehicle of some sort. Let me tell you something. All the accidents happen in a split second. Had that person made a left or a right, the accident may have not happened, right? Well, that's exactly what happened. It happened the way it happened in that same corner. And sometimes you look at it like, wow, there is no if it happened, God forbid it should, ever never happen for anyone watching or listening, but it's reality. Every single thing. You slipped, you fell, you can't turn the time clock back, because it happened exactly where something happened where you need. Now, from a different realm, if we talk spiritual, religious, whatever, and destiny and all these things and believing in all those, that's a whole different world. But I'm talking just the fact of matter. Like when actions take place, you can't take them back. They happen already. You got guns there. If you pull a trigger, you can't bring that bullet back, right?
Mm.
It's exactly the same concept. Nothing. Now, when you pull the trigger and you know where you put it, what heading is gonna go. That's the heading is gonna go. Whatever is in that, it's gonna. I did actually take what do you call it, like rifle
Yeah,
education, like hunting
sure.
education. And one of the things they say, once that thing goes, it's gonna keep going until it's gonna find something to stop it, right? So you better never aim at someone. First rule in
Yeah, that's
safety is
right.
like you
Never
never,
anything you.
aim the firearm at anything that you don't intend to shoot, right? Well, it's the same concept here, folks. It is real, folks. It's live, whether we like it or not. So sometimes the easy way is to face it and understand what it is. The minute we start like trying to figure out all the different excuses of why, and again, this is the mindset change. This is the shift. This is what makes a difference, and this creates that again the connection with the discipline that you mentioned. Now, and I think we've talked enough about this, but now I want to talk about your transformation, and you talked about nutrition and things that changed your. I mean, by the way, anyone if you go to his, Lane's social, he's got some real ripped, pictures. I mean, he's made some real transformation pictures, that you can see the before and the after. It is clear that there was a true change in his, physique and the look, because he put in the time, he
Yeah.
put in the effort, and definitely the right nutrition. Because and I
It's
know,
all nutrition, no drugs, no steroids, no TRT. I can show you the blood work. People, if they will eat my coach dialed in the nutrition. If you'll dial it in with a coach that really knows what they're doing, you will be accused of steroids. You'll be accused of doing all this stuff because you're eating the right food. Like we talk about, the sacrifice creates paradise. It's not easy. You have to forego all the pleasurable instant gratification foods. But if you can do those things, your body is capable of unbelievable things, and that goes for everybody. Everybody's genetics are different, but the what people accuse of, oh, the quick route. A guy always said people accuse people, and there are plenty of people on steroids, plenty of people on different things, and I just want to get into that because some people will look at that and say I'm not capable of that. And my mission is to let you guys know I don't believe in you. I don't believe you can do it. I know you can do it. You can get transfer. You can transform like that if you do the work. And it's like you said, it's repetition of all. It's 20. I'm on a 24-hour program. This sitting in 1 hour in the gym. This sitting a few meals. This is you change your mindset to, hey, this is who I am now. I sacrifice my instant gratification of food, instant gratification of sleeping in, instant gratification of not going to the gym. So if you can wake up on time, work out on time, and not break on the food, you can totally transform. Just want to let everybody know that if you've got a proper meal plan, you got a proper workout routine. I'm not strong. I don't squat 315. I don't bench crazy. You can literally do all this at home. You can totally transform if you eat the right nutrition and you do a little bit of moving around. You can definitely transform. Anyways, I didn't want to get on that rant of that. I just know sometimes people, and also those pictures are me whenever I got a pump in. Right, obviously, I don't look like that 24/7. Anybody you see, with veins and all that stuff, it's because they got a pump in. Right. If you look at my arms right now, I don't have any veins popping or nothing. So
of
that's in a
course.
gym most of the time.
No, but again, but it shows like when you are not,
Mhm.
following this versus when you do. Listen, I know exactly
100%.
how it feels when you pump. It shows when
Yeah.
you don't. I mean, we all have that relaxed moment, but even though it's all the action that you take to change. And now I want to ask you this. I think I read something about you that you grow your own stuff.
That I what now?
You grow your own food or something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, we do a little bit of farm. We got chickens that we get. Man, listen, I would have went broke buying eggs, because I eat so many eggs a day, egg whites and stuff. So yeah, we grow that. We got a little garden here. My family's growing up garden. We hunt deer, so we get a lot of our meat from deer. But yeah, so like I said, we're not. I don't want anybody to think we're totally sustainable or anything. But yeah, we try to do as much as we can for sure.
Well, again, I mean, listen, nothing beats fresh stuff that is
No,
really
for
in the
sure.
garden in a good soil that is not, frozen and or
Yeah.
GMO stuff, right? That's as organic as you can get. Well, so that helps, I think.
No,
but but
100%.
but Solane, for our people that may not have that luxury of what you have. By the way, I'm envious because, to be honest with you, that's a lifestyle that is beautiful to have the ability to do that. You know how many times I've entertained that idea, like, hey, let's just get a farm and do
You
stuff.
just gotta do. Hey, listen,
I
sacrifice,
know,
grace, spirit. You
I
don't want to give
know.
up something. What is it? What is it? What you hanging on to?
Listen, it's in my to do list. It's definitely there.
No, for sure. Hey, that's
You
that
know,
calling. Hey, acquire what you admire. If it's a pull, you got to do it.
it's in there. One day I will have that, and maybe on one of
I
the
think
shows,
it's
like, I,
naturalistic, man. It's funny you say that. I think it's a natural pull for everybody to be just self-sustainable, period. Deep down that. And listen, by the way, I don't want anybody to think, we still do everything, but I think everybody wants that not having to depend on everybody, right? Because we're all needy, because you know, we need somebody for our sustenance, right? Somebody to bring the food to the grocery stores. And I think deep down our subconscious knows, hey, you need to do this on your own, right? Or you need to have something set up. So I think that is something to that.
well, Lane, I'm looking at it from another angle. Is that, frankly, doing the work I do now, having all these experts on nutrition and health and stuff, knowing the source of the food we have, the type of food that we have, the things that we eat
Crazy.
in every day. That's actually what's motivating me to do this. And frankly, that's where I stand today. Like, I'm literally confused about, like, everything around us. Like, you can't find good healthy food anymore. I mean, really. So
Nothing,
so
man. Even
the
this water. Hey, even the water. If you dig in this plastic bottle,
plastic,
the
exactly.
plastic, you dig
It's
in. I
you.
went down the water rabbit hole of like trying to get the cleanest water ever, and it's like I got to get a spring, and then you can't do that because contaminated from this and that, and man, it's crazy. It's
Well, that's
crazy.
exactly so. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's the magic formula where you can get some of the healthy stuff, but it's really, I mean, yes, there's farmers, there's this, that, but it's not consistent. And no matter
And you
what you
don't know
got.
what they're feeding there. Yeah. Hey, listen, I know a lot of farmers, and they're feeding this and that, and they're feeding this grain to this, and it is
Well,
it's a
listen, I don't blame them because that's what's
yeah.
available to them too.
Yeah, and hey, how much money are you willing to pay for beef? If I bring you a steak that's $35, for a little steak like this, but hey, everything was pure organic, you'd be like, you know what I mean? So it's just I feel like our food sources, you know, I used to think it was a big conspiracy. They're trying to kill all of us. And it's not, I think, in my opinion, it's just
It's the
prices trying to
world.
get lower and lower and lower.
Yeah.
And it's just a race to the bottom, where you can spray Roundup because weeds grow, easier, less labor. We've just kind of went reckless with trying to save money because we're all, everybody wants to save money,
That's what
and health
you
is
gotta go.
wealth. And this is the flipping in for me. And I know for you, this is the flipping. You know, I wouldn't trade Bill Gates's money to be Bill Gates's age and look the way he looks. I wouldn't trade all of it. I wouldn't trade none of it. Warren Buffett, would you trade all those billions of dollars to be 80 years old and to be in his shape? No. So health is wealth, right? Being that youth and really taking advantage of that and focusing on that, and everybody, you don't know what you got till it's gone, right? With health. And I don't know, man,
Ooh,
that's something I've really people say it all the time, but I know that now. I can look at somebody and I don't envy them because they're older and got more money. I'm grateful. I think gratitude. We hadn't talked about gratitude a lot, but
yeah.
just being grateful for your age, grateful where you're at, and hey, look, be grateful that we even have an opportunity to hunt down healthy food, right? I mean, what if you were in North Korea where food wasn't even a really thing, So 100%. It's fun. We get to talk about it, and I think with us talking about it, I know there's even food companies that there's a push right now. I think now maybe it's because the circles I'm running, but there even the organic foods have been lazy on things. Like I've learned about the vegetable oils and the seed oils. That's a big thing now. Some of them are even taking the seed oils out of stuff. And I think it's good that we're talking about it, in my opinion. I could talk about this for days and food and poisons. And that's mainly what it is. We're just being poisoned.
Lane, you got to come back and we'll have a whole different show about that stuff
Yeah.
because I would love to hear your perspective. But I do want to say this: you talked about, like, would I trade billions for the health? Well, I'm gonna tell you, folks, if you're watching or listening right now, this is true. Take it to the bank. There's only two ways to end up. you're gonna either live long and or die, you know, sooner than later, right? So if you die, that's a whole different story. You ended, early, whatever. But if you stay long, you want to be healthy long enough and live a healthier lifestyle and hopefully be able to manage your day-to-day activities until the end, right? And that's the outcomes, guys. There's no other out. There's no third choice. These are the two choices we have. So at any, but we talk about grateful. Trust me, as you start getting advanced age or even middle age, you start thinking about those things like, well, how much more I have? Do I? And by the way, when you start feeling that you can't do exactly what you used to do as 10 years before, whatever,
That's a warning
that,
sign. Yeah.
exactly. So it's time like, I got to do more. And by the way, there are things that you can do in the 20s become difficult in the 50s. Yes, you can do them.
Yeah.
I can still do the things that I've done, but it's different because now you're worried, if you break something, it's not the same. Your bones are not going to heal equally. So these are things
So
that you have to
true.
consider. So as you grow, in age, know that it's there's two ways. Either you're going to end one time sooner, or you're going to continue living, but you want to manage that living style where you're still maintaining your vitality and vibrant and all the stuff.
So
And the
true.
only way to do it is by looking at your food, but exercising, doing things. And life is going to come in between, folks, because
Yeah.
you're going to have to do things. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to do this.
And
And
regret's not a choice.
yep.
Regret's not a choice. You're going to regret not putting in the work when you're 50, 60, 70. Right now when you can do it, and that's another big thing that I've learned. You can put your head in the sand right now. And at John Maxwell, I'm not know if you're familiar with him. You can pay now and play later, or you can play now and pay later. I say, and I've even said, I put on my quote today, you can play now and pay forever. You know, if you don't pay now, and I've heard, you can have an easy life, going the easy route will make your life hard. Going the hard route will make your life easy. And like we say, the discipline, the sacrifice. And look, I get tired of hearing it too. I don't like doing it either. I don't like I want to eat that bad food too. I want to eat junk food. I don't want to work out. I mean, we all deal with that every day, but you hardwire your brain to where this is what we're doing. And you just pay that little bit of, in the mornings, with me working up, waking up, working out, and my whole day's better, right? Just by starting that. And every morning I don't feel like doing. Almost every morning I don't feel like getting up. Every morning, but I know the rest of the day is going to go good. And I feel good right now. I've been up for a long time, and I feel great. But just because I did that this morning, set my whole day good.
Lane, that's the fix. That's actually that's a good addiction to have.
You
Waking up
got
in the
to,
morning,
man.
like I got to be addicted to the gym to work out. And by the way, I know this for a fact too. I would agree with Lane. I've been obviously longer, doing this, and I've worked out for almost 40 years. And I'm telling you, the days that I don't work out, I'm not feeling the same. The day I work out, my
That's right.
energy is different. Your body is different. You feel more energy. You can do more. You just different. Your vibrations are different. Your frequency is better. So it's all
So
the
true.
above. So it's what it is, folks. And by the way, I do have my days where I slack off, and trust me, it feel the difference. You feel like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm lying
Jordan
today.
Peterson said something the other day that was funny. He says, "I've never seen anybody get away with anything." It was so true,
It's a
I mean,
fact.
even just something that little, just something little, even with you. I said, we're not going to be perfect, but be conscious and don't ever sever your conscience where you could convince yourself, oh, no, I feel fine. I feel fine. And then not work out the next day and then just never work out for the rest of your life. You could lie to yourself and do that. But you're not going to get away with it, right? You're going to have that constant regret and nobody can get away with it. And that's why me and you know what we know about food. We know what we know about nutrition and we're doing everybody a disservice by not spreading that message. I feel like that's the message. Nobody gets a pass on this, in my opinion. Eating properly and working out, nobody gets a pass. Everybody needs this. Donald Trump needs this. Bill Gates needs this. I don't care how poor you are, how rich you are, old you are. Even with our kids, like you got to do something. And it was not taught to me, and it changed my life, right? It's not everything. I don't base everything, but it's what everybody's got to do, right? I feel like, in my opinion, to be the best version of you, whatever you do. But it makes me a better person, and it's helped me out tremendously. Would you agree or disagree, Hurricane?
Oh, I'm totally with you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. This is the same frequency
100%.
here. We're on the same page. And frankly, folks, what we are talking about right now, if you look at historically, people lived, we have this whole thing that we hear all the time, like, we live longer today. We have better medicine. We have better. Well, actually, we're unhealthier than ever. I mean, we have obesity that never existed. I mean, even in this planet today, if you go to different countries, their bodies look
Don't
different
happen.
than exactly. So I worked in the Medicare space, and I actually talked to seniors that have been living from the 1920s. They're still alive. You know, their lifestyle was different, folks. They lived healthier. They had home meals. They didn't go out. They didn't. It was non-GMO stuff. When they were growing up, all this stuff is real. That's why they're longer. It's not because of anything else. They do healthy activities. We had the pandemic. People that were out there running, doing stuff, they
100%.
tend to be a little bit more immune, and their body can face whatever comes inside the body, differently. So without getting into the details of the
Yeah,
viruses and stuff, but the fact of the matter is, your habits, your practice of your daily, activities and all this stuff is going to change things. Now, ultimately, if we eat junk every day, and by the way, like I have this habit now, I look at every single thing, and
got
there
to
is the
listen. We all,
ninety
we all,
percent, dude, 90%. You turn the any wrapping back,
yeah.
and you're gonna find like 5 ingredients, 20 ingredients, 30 ingredients, and a little thing like what the hell? What can it possibly be on this? That is
Like,
like
why
30
did you?
things.
Yeah, you had to go out of your way to put that in there. Like, would it not be cheaper to leave it out? It's crazy to me. The less uh things that are in it, the more expensive it is. It's crazy to me. I'm with you 100%. I don't
Dude, why it's not
understand.
even that. When you for half of them, you can. Yeah, maybe I have an accent. I don't know. Maybe I have a different, background. Maybe I can't read those words, but some of these things you can't even pronounce.
No,
And
can't be
frankly, like,
good. Can't be good for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, if it sounds chemical, I mean, it is chemical. So let's call it that way, right?
No, 100%. Hey, real quick, I want to interrupt on this because you're
Yeah.
from another part, or you different culture. I'm just now really got into fasting. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts on fasting? Have you played with it at all?
Ooh, well, I do fast by default. I mean, we have a whole month that we fast. Actually, it's Ramadan,
Okay.
and yeah. So that month. By
That's
the
a
way,
that's a game changer. To me,
that's a
it's been a
game.
game changer.
Actually, I know friends who are not of the same faith, but they have tried it and they loved it. They do it
Oh,
by
it's
exercise,
it's
not by
another
religion.
must. It's another must. It's another must. I,
It's become a trend now. Like,
yeah,
it's
it is. It
sexy
is.
to do intermittent
Yeah.
fasting or
And by
fasting
the
three
way,
days.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And hey, listen, I love food more than anybody. I don't like doing it, and
That's
I just got
that's
off a 5.5 day, and it's game changing.
well, Lane, I have to say. See, this is the thing. When we fast, you're not. It's not like you're not eating. What changes is the length of the time you eat, the type of food you eat, and also it's you give your body enough to really detox. I mean, to cleanse itself. I mean, your liver has 14 hours, 12 to 14 hours to really, while you're active, not sleeping, because we can do the same thing in reverse. And you're sleeping, it's not the same. But you're active, you're doing stuff, you're working, because you're not like you're sleeping during the day. You're doing all the stuff, and you're not. And by the way, believe it or not, when you actually do it consciously, you don't even feel the pain of the
No,
thirst and all the stuff. And then when it comes time, you can only eat so much. That's the thing, and that's
that's
it.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
right.
can only,
A
yeah,
hundred percent. And people
you
don't
can
know
only eat
that.
so,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and you are picky with your food, so you don't eat
yeah.
junk. You feel correctly. That's it. And then the next day, and so in the 30 days, I can tell you, in the 30 days, I lose almost every year. I lose about 10 pounds in that month. I feel more energetic. I have a healthier outcome when I come out of that month. I'm actually more, vital in terms of
A
everything.
hundred
Even
percent.
my blood work is better. And so I say it from a not religious perspective, but from a health perspective. And that's why now science is really supporting these ideologies. People are doing these fast, just culturally, and it's working. It's, by the way, this is not new. Most of the religions in the
Thousands of
countries have,
years.
exactly. They've
Yeah.
all had fasting. Now, so thank you for the questions.
Kind of goes full circle for sure. How
It
how
is. It
things.
is. Listen,
Yeah, we got this new thing. It's called fat. It's called not eating.
yeah,
And yeah,
it's
just
been
giving your
around,
body a
baby.
rest. Giving your body a rest, man. It was. I never really thought about it that way, but just watching all the science and listening to all of it, and it just makes sense. And the energy you never would think because you thought you had to eat to get energy, and it's actually the reverse. When you eat, your body is processing that stuff, and just having an open mind, man, and listening to different people, and that's really helped me. I've never had a problem with listening to people. Like I want to
Well,
learn, like.
so Lynn, here's a good one. We've always heard that if you don't go to swim after you eat, right?
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah. Why? Because the hormones and all the stuff is sending all the the work into the stomach and the processing. So your muscles are relaxed, right? Well, that's exactly, you just said it. So you don't need that when you're fasting. Your body is going to take energy from where it needs. That's where the
Yeah,
stored fat and all the stuff is going to come in play. But you're going to be running. Now the
that's
only
right.
thing that can affect you more is the water. Now we go like 12, 30, 14 hours without water, but you have the whole night to satisfy the water in your intakes. I mean,
Okay, so that's
again,
what I was wondering. So
yeah,
it's no food and water because I did a 24-hour dry fast. 24 hours no water, no nothing. And I've heard that there's people that do a like they don't even take baths, right? You can't be in around water because your skin, you don't have to drink water
yeah,
to survive. You can
again,
get it through the skin.
I don't know that science, but
Yeah,
as far as I know, like hydrating, right,
yeah,
is important, and for your kidneys, for your blood work, and
for
all that.
sure.
But I know one thing that when you start eating at night, you start drinking all night. I mean, basically, you can drop a gallon of water that whole night. It's all good,
Yeah,
and it's basically all we're doing is switching the day and the night. But because you're given a longer time frame, for your body, your processing, your liver gets to relax, your stomach gets to relax. And by the way,
yeah,
your stomach does shrink, so you're not gonna as
100%.
soon as you start eating, you're gonna fill up quick. And that's all there is. And you do it the first couple of days, it becomes a little like you got to get adjusted, and then eventually. Now we do have a practice sometimes, like some people do Mondays and Thursdays, like different days a week, and you keep doing it, and it works. I mean, I'm talking about just part of the religion piece. But people are doing it, and it just gives you the same energy. And the other thing is because there's more to this, in terms of even your personality. Because in the fasting mode, you're supposed to be nice.
No, 100%. Look, I'm a better person when I do. Tell me this. I was reading where I think do y'all break it with dates? What food do
dates
y'all break it with? Yeah.
dates is the key. Now,
Listen, hey, it's
research.
funny. Hey, I've never eaten dates until I broke the 5.5 recently. I started looking this up and I seen it on Instagram, and I think it was a Muslim was saying that they break it with dates. And I was like, I've never even eaten a date. I don't know what a date is. So I went to Publix, bought some dates, and I fell in love with them. I'd never eaten dates. They're candy, man. They taste like candy. It was pure organic dates. And
Dates are ancient.
I love,
Yeah.
listen, hey, I'm a date fan now. Listen, you tell my wife I went to
Oh,
Publix and
we have a
Sprouts.
joke. I have a carte blanche in Ramadan to date as many to have as many days as I can.
That's right. Yeah, they don't like that, do they? They don't like that. Hey, listen, it
No,
was good.
no,
I got some
no,
with
no, no.
coconut.
You know what? Like I can't date because I'm married, but I can
That's
have a
right.
lot of
You have
days in
many
Ramadan.
dates as you want. As many dates as you want.
Well, what's funny about it is that 3 dates literally is our, like, that's what you're supposed to have. But scientifically, if you actually take the content of dates in general, it's rich in a lot of things. You can sustain life with dates, water, and milk. Clearly, you don't even need to eat anything else. You have a full, rich, diet with that. People have survived with that diet in the desert for years. I mean, I come from Morocco, so we have a lot of desert. And if
Man, I
you go,
like the dates. Listen, I'm a date fan. I just got it. Yeah, I started eating them, man. It's funny you say that, and that's I've been doing a 24-hour fast every day for the last certain days, and I actually ate some. They got coconut. It's organic dates with coconut on them, and
well, yeah,
I'm a
those
fan.
are those I know. But get if I, I'll send you an email what to look for,
Uh,
what to buy,
yeah,
and the type of the ones I'm going to send you, they're so juicy. By the way,
put me
if
on
you
them, man. Put me on. Yeah, I think these may have been dried. They had the seed in them,
yeah,
but
no, no, no.
yeah,
Uh,
man. Yeah,
if,
put me on the authentic. I want to be authentic when I do this.
folks, if you're watching and listening, dates are rich, they're good, they're healthy, and if you crave sweets, that's a sweet that's not going to hurt you.
Oh, it's
I mean, obviously you
candy.
don't want. Yeah, it's
It's
very
candy.
nice.
Listen, it's candy. I could sit there. I was like, man, are these really good for me? Like, cause you eat them and there's like, it's just like you're eating straight, a piece of candy. And it was 100% date. I kept looking for sugar, like looking at the label, and it's like, man, these things are like. Anyways, it's not something that I grew up. I didn't even know what a date was growing up. So it's funny. It's a cultural thing, I guess.
Yeah, well,
But
they grow
uh,
them in California, so
yeah, yeah,
they have
yeah. But
they have great ones from California. So
is there
you know,
anything else that y'all break it with, or that y'all like?
no,
What's the
so
custom?
like in our culture, typically is at least in Morocco, it's dates, milk. Those are standard.
Cow
Well,
milk or goat milk?
well, depends if the people that have goat. I mean, they drink goat. I mean, typically it's cow milk, but yeah, I mean, some
Okay.
people even drink camel milk, like in the Middle East,
Yeah.
right? That's and it's strong. It's healthier than the regular cow milk.
Oh, I'm
Believe it or not.
sure. Most
Yeah.
times, yeah, stuff like that is.
Yeah, yeah, and then basically eggs. That's another one that we usually get because you get your proteins and stuff, and that's like your first break. And then you wait a little bit. That's how we do it. Then you have a little salad, whatever, and like so you get your veggies, and then you get some meats and stuff later on. So you spread out the meal for about an hour or so, and then you're done.
You're making me
And-
hungry. You're making
yeah,
me
yeah,
hungry.
yeah. Well, this was not expected in the discussion, but really, it is part of the new wave of health, and
A
it
hundred
just
percent.
it works. Trust me, folks. I mean, you don't have
And
to take
people
it
don't
from us.
want to. Yeah, I like to learn from everybody, man. And that's the problem. We can't sit down and talk about different cultures or religions and find out and learn from each other. So, look, I love it, man. I want to talk about it. Yeah.
Well, Lane, you know what? We passed the hour a long time ago, and you know what? We're still having
The-
fun. But it's been an hour and a half, man. But
no,
who cares,
no, no.
right?
I could talk about it for days, man. We got to do it
Well,
again if you want to. Look, I'm open for it all. Listen, this never ends. I could talk about a million, any topic, anytime. We could
you're
talk
coming
about
back, dude.
anything. I listen, psychology, man. I've really been deep. I don't even know enough to be dangerous, but knee deep into that, man. I think the number one problem, in my opinion, with everything is self awareness. I could limit it to self awareness, the problem, which is linked from not learning enough about psychology, in my opinion, not understanding psychological issues and yourself and your parents and the it just understanding where everything comes from, and that if you come from people that weren't perfect, that makes you not perfect. It makes you got to work on things and hyper focusing on our weaknesses, right? If you're nice all the time, you probably need to work on not being as nice. If you're an asshole all the time, you need to work on not being that. So always work on the weakness. If I'm really strong and all I do is work out, I probably need to work on some different areas in my life, right? That was the big thing for me. If Michael Jordan can dunk a basketball and all this, but he's a terrible father, I don't really. To me, I want to be around well-rounded people in all those things, right? All the categories. Business. If you're a good businessman, but you're a terrible father, I don't really want to learn from you. I want all three areas, right? I want you to be successful in this, and know how to juggle those things. I don't really care to learn from somebody that's just really good at business or somebody just really good at being a father, right? But then you're struggling in your family. So I just feel like that well rounded. And that all boils down to self-awareness and understanding where you are, where you struggle with, and understanding those things. And that's how we can learn from each other, I think.
Lane, you're definitely on the hook. You're coming back, and we're gonna go
Thank you.
philosophical.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
the
Hey,
way,
listen, I
on
could
the
go
on
do,
the
hey, we
next
could do
one,
hours on that.
yeah, the
Hours on
next
that.
one we can go there. We can go through. I mean, there's so much stuff that we can bring, and
Yeah, we got to talk off camera too. There's probably some things we can't talk online. So there's a lot of questions I want to ask you that we probably can't do right
oh
here.
yeah,
So
sure, sure, sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm all
You'll
yours,
have to
dude. And
subscribe. You have to subscribe. We'll have to say, yeah, we'll start this our own session off the airwaves.
you got it, man. But you know what? I really enjoyed today's
No, thank you,
discussion.
thank you.
It was powerful. There's a lot of stuff. And by the way, folks, this is the thing, right? You know, I met Lane about 5-10 minutes before the show, and really we had it off
I've
nicely.
known you forever. Sounds like I know you forever. I had a better conversation with you
Uh,
than I've known people for 30 years. I've talked to you, I know you
I,
better than I know somebody for 30 years.
well, again, it's that whole chemistry, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing. We are literally, you know, over the net right now, but still, you can feel that energy. I can feel this, and I know it's real. It's not
You
fake. I
can't
know
fake
it's
it. You can't listen. You can't fake real. And
genuine,
that's
baby. It's
you
This
can't
is who
fake
we
it.
are, and you know what? Hope that we've touched some folks today. Somehow, somewhere, you'll get something from this particular show that you can, for yourself and share it. I mean, I repeat this again, as I said, I'm my first client.
100%. Hey,
I
listen,
get, yeah,
if nobody got anything from it, it was worth everything just for me to talk to you. So
vice
listen, hey,
versa. So
that's right.
I mean, same
I
thing,
know
dude.
they're going to get something from it because me and you both got something from it. They got to.
And that's the other thing. Like we learn from each other every
That's
day,
right.
folks. And everybody can learn from someone something. And every discussion, as long as it's positive, you can. And by the way, even if let's say you went to a negative discussion, what you
You're
just
going to get
learned
something
is
positive.
exactly what you
Learn
learn
what
is
not
what
to
not
do.
to do. Exactly.
That's right. No,
There you
listen,
go.
learn
See,
what not.
we didn't
Hey,
rehearse
listen,
that one.
and with art, listen, I've learned this, and this is something I've learned through my Instagram, my sharing, my posting, and this is for you. I'm gonna give you some advice here because my coach give it to me.
Please.
Share your life, show your life, show your kids, show your family, show your. We don't want to just see this side of your business side. Like he was real big on that. Show your vulnerability, show where you mess up because we all mess up, right? And just be honest, be vulnerable, laugh at yourself. Look, we're all gonna die. We're not gonna get out of here. Let's have fun, learn from things, and don't take life so serious. But there are a lot of serious things that we can talk about. But that was that was the biggest share I could say is all you guys. you know something, you could help somebody. If you've learned anything ever, if you're good at anything, start posting online, sharing, get the ideas out there. You're going to, hey, look, my coach told me you're going to suck at first. You know, your first videos talking on camera, your first whatever, they're not going to be good. He said you're going to suck, but you just got to do it, right? And if you're good at it at first, then it doesn't mean anything. So just be okay with it, laugh at yourself, and at the end of the day, man, just you just got to do it, and it's a freeing thing. It's a freeing thing to be able to put your story out there and help people. And I think that would cure most people too. Just get it out, right? Just the issues you're having.
You know, we all know this in psychiatry. The first thing you do is you go on and they tell you, speak about it, talk about it. Let's to get it out of the
100%.
system. And that's exactly what you do. Well, here's the thing. I was going to ask you to give us some final words of
No,
wisdom.
I didn't did it.
You just did.
Oh.
You just did. You beat me to it,
I
man.
read your mind.
Yeah, you know what they say: great minds
Great
think
minds
alike.
think
You know?
alike. Hey, listen, I got another good one. If two people agree on everything, one's not needed. Remember that. I don't. Hey, listen, I heard a billionaire say that. You know, if two people get along, two people agree on everything, one's not needed. So listen,
I don't know
tell
if I
people,
agree with you all the time. I mean, I'm sure there's other things that
oh
may
no, no,
not
I know
agree
you're
with.
not. I know you're not. And that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying one of us is not needed. If we agree on everything, and I tell people, because people are going to say, hey, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with this, and I tell them that's really good because I don't agree with everything I do. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be embarrassed of something I did on here or thought. But this is what's great about being a wise person. You can change. Wise people change their minds and change. So look, there. It's a constant journey, evolution, and you want to get on that with somebody. And I know I'm gonna mess up. Look, if I can get my wife to come in here and totally verify that I'm gonna mess up, right? But being able to say that you're wrong, that you don't know everything, and being honest with your kids, honest with your people, honest with, listen, guys, you know, if you see me making a mistake, let me know. And but if you don't have those same results in your life, I probably don't want to hear it. You know, I take advice from people that have those results, right? So, anyways, that's some good
Lane,
little end thing.
Lane, we are human, and there's no perfect
That's right.
human. We do make mistakes. It's part of who
Yes.
we are, and lessons are learned from our mistakes. So it's part of, again, being positive about life. You know, you take
If
whatever it throws at you.
yeah, you can't lose if you're learning. You can't lose if you're learning.
That's it.
So we don't lose over here. We're just winning. We're just learning.
Winners. You know, there is a question. Do you hate to lose? I mean, do you hate to lose or do you love to win?
Okay, so real quick, I know I keep talking about all my coaches. I had another coach. He's from New York. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt, and he was a friend that I met in my stuff. He said, "Don't use the word hate." He says this week. He said, "Don't use the word." He said, "I don't ever." It's funny. He's got me out of that vocabulary. I don't hate things anymore. And he said, you know, and I realized if you hate something, you don't understand it. And so, no, I really don't. I'm not a competitive person. I tell people I don't get competitive unless I'm around competitive people. I think competitive people, there's an insecurity, in my opinion, of competitiveness. Listen, if you're winning, I never want to compete with you. If you got $10 million, I want to know how you got it. I don't want to compete with you. So I don't really, another thing a coach taught me, he said, it ain't losing, you know, there's no losses. We don't take losses. We're just learning. And I really think that. I don't really focus on winning and losing. I don't know if that, I'm not trying to get out of but I've never
No.
been
Lane, you know,
competitive.
it's funny.
Yeah, yeah. Does that make sense?
No, it does. And by the way, that question is a trick question
Yeah.
because
Did I pass?
you passed. You
Did
know,
I
there
pass?
is
Yeah.
you passed. There is no real answer to that one because you know
I
what
don't
is
win.
this?
Yeah.
It's really the same thing, folks. It's just how you, again, talking about where do
Yeah.
you
How you
position
think about it.
yourself. It's really what you are. There's actually an interview question that we use in selection, right? In
Yeah.
terms of like, so which one, just to give you like what mind, you know, ideology is that person. And so the way the thought process works, the way you hear it, then it gives you what potential person you have in front of you. But there is no right or wrong answer about that because at the end of the day, it's not a matter of hating to lose or loving to win. It's really a win-win at the end of the day.
Yeah. 100%. So did I pass? Did I get the job?
Now you got
Y'all
a
going
job.
to hire me?
Yeah,
Okay.
you got in, baby.
Well, good, 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 good. Hey, listen, I
Uh,
appreciate it, man. Really, I appreciate it. This was a treat for me. This was
no,
seamless.
same here, man. Thank you, Lane. It was a true pleasure and honor, and definitely you're back, man. You're set.
100%.
You
Look,
can't
I
run away.
passed. I tricked you. Yeah, I manipulated you into another one.
But listen, if all the manipulation is this way, I'll take anyone.
That's right. Let's go.
All right, Lane. So thank you so much for being with us. And folks, I hope you enjoyed. You know, this was a lengthy one, but it was worth every second of it. We had so much fun, so much knowledge, And I mean, I wouldn't say knowledge, but insights, because I think, knowledge is available, but this is just insights of two people who have applied certain things and they're sharing with you. So that's all there is for me. I'm Hurricane H. We'll be talking soon. Another day, another show, another topic. And look forward to Lane coming back
I'm
next
here.
early next year. All right, Lane. Take it easy. Bye, everyone.